The annual County Carnival is being held this summer and will last 5.5 days. And I wish it could go on forever, but it looks like 5.5 days is all we got. You are the lucky owner of the biggest and newest roller coaster called the Gentle Giant. The roller coaster costs $6 to ride. Wow, that's quite a bit. The operator of the ride must pay $200 per day for the ride rental and $65 per day for a safety inspection. If you want to make a profit of at least $1,000 a day, oh, no wonder it costs so much to ride. What is the minimum number of people that must ride the roller coaster? Write an inequality that can be used to find the minimum number of people, P, which must ride the roller coaster each day to make the daily profit. Okay, so we're trying to figure out our profit. Well, in order to figure out how much money you're going to make, you have to consider how much money you're going to earn, right? How much your earnings are going to be, and then you also have to take away your expenses. If you're running a business, you're going to make some money and you're going to lose some money. And what we want to know is if we can take the earnings and subtract away the expenses, is that going to be, let's see, it says at least $1,000, right? So you know the other part of the inequality is going to be $1,000. So the last question is what has to go between them? Well, if I take my earnings and I subtract away my expenses, it says I want to make at least $1,000, right? So I know that a number bigger than 1,000 would work. The math would eat the larger number. It says at least, so it looks like $1,000 would also be okay, right? So we need to make this greater than or equal to $1,000. The next step then would be to figure out how much your earnings actually would be. And the only way we're going to make money is if people ride the ride. So we're going to use $6 because that's the cost for the ride. But if two people ride, then it's going to be a $12 profit. If three people ride, it's going to be 18. If four people ride, it's going to be 24, and so on. So since we don't know how many people are going to ride yet, the best we can do is say it's going to be $6 times the number of people that are going to ride. I don't know if it's going to be 12 or $200 or whatever, but my earnings is going to be $6 times however many people get on this ride. Now, expenses is going to be a little bit easier to figure out, right? It says I have $200 for the rental, for the privilege of having the ride. I'm going to have to pay $200 a day. And I also have to pay $65 for someone to make sure that the ride is safe. So I have my earnings 6 times P. I also have my expenses. I have two different expenses. And that has to be greater than or equal to $1,000. And that is my inequality. The second part of the problem that you'll be asked to do on your own here in a little bit is to solve the inequality. So the first thing I'm looking for here is to see if I can combine any of my like terms. Well, 6p, that's the only term that has any variable in it. So that's the best that we can do. But I also see I'm going to take away $200 and I'm going to take away 65. Well, that means my total expenses would be $265, right? So I can just take that away all at once. 6p minus 265 would be my earnings minus my expenses. That is greater than or equal to $1,000. So then what I'd really like to know is just how many people, okay? So in order to get rid of the $265, I'm going to add $265 to both sides because remember we have to keep things fair here, if-then statements. Now if you take a look at this inequality, doesn't this really now tell me that my earnings, 6 times P, really has to be greater than or equal to $1,265. Now, if you think about the problem, that does make a lot of sense because we have to make enough money to earn $1,000 and also pay for my expenses. So really, my profit has to take care of all of these expenses. All right, so if this is the amount of money that we really have to make, $1,000 profit plus our expenses, then that means the total number of people, if we divide both sides by 6, number of people has to be at least 210.83. Now, really, the 3 goes on forever. Your calculator will tell you that. But if we're talking about people, I don't think we're going to get 8/10 of a person anyway. So it says greater than or equal to, but I don't think we're going to get exactly this equal number of people, right? the answer to my inequality, then you got to be smarter than the problem. We need at least 211 people to ride the coaster.